And I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Glenda Rose, who is going to be moderating the rest of the webinar for us this afternoon. Glenda?
Okay, and Leslie, you can go ahead and put your hand back down unless you have a question. If you have a question, go ahead and speak up. Be glad just to take yourself off of mute. So when your hand is blue, it's up. Anything blue is active. Okay, and Beth, are they going to get to you through chat, or did you want me to put a note up here, or how are they going to contact you if they're having a problem?
They can go ahead and put something in the chat pod, and we'll divide up and try and troubleshoot for everybody.
Can I say something really quick, though? So Lorraine sent me a screenshot of what they see. They don't have the participant list as an option.
Oh, okay. So that's something that the host has to set up. So can you go into participants in the menu bar, Beth, and under privileges, assign privileges to view the participant list?
Yeah, a lot of them are saying that now in an email to me. They can't raise their hand.
They should be able to raise their hand. Oh, well, okay, they can't see the participant list. They can't raise their hand.
Right.
I'm going to have to take the presenter rights back.
Okay.
Wow, happy new program year. At least we're getting this over with in our first PD coordinator webinar as the year begins. Right?
You couldn't hear without, I'm sorry, you couldn't hear without calling in. Sometimes that depends on your computer. I had to do 2 different audios before I could get mine to work today. Takes a little getting used to. We should have a webinar on how to use the webinar.
That reminds me of some funny stuff we're going to put together for our PD coordinator meeting at the Summer Institute.
That's too many webinars, Glenda.
Yeah, even some of our PD specialists are having the same issue. So sit tight, everybody, and hopefully Beth is able to.
Yeah, did you find it, Beth?
So I've view participant list. Should be okay now.
Okay.
Tracy, can you read? Yeah, can you let me know, or Krista, let me know if you can see it, since y'all are the ones texting with me.
You might have to turn it on. So if the participant icon at the top on the gray is gray, then you'll need to turn it blue so you can see. No, there's no main screen because she's got the ball right now, Cheryl. You're not missing anything. I'm not sharing anything right now.
Krista says she can see it now.
Okay. So now you guys can see your hands and your microphone, so you can take yourself on and off of mute, and you should be able to raise your hands. Are we good?
I can see the list, but still can't type in the chat pod.
You can't type in it. So that's a privilege, Beth, that they're able to chat with everyone.
I'm making a note. When we moved this over, that might have been me. Check.
It's something, that
privileges.
We usually check when we first come on as hosts, but
yeah.
we just Beth is touch hitting for me, so
it should be all good.
Are we good now? Now you can chat to everybody.
Can somebody type something in the chat pod? Let us know you're in.
Make sure it says send to everyone. Howdy. All right, Laura's in. And I'm back to being the host. Okay. All right, Leslie's there. All right, thank you. Thank you for letting us know, everybody, that was a problem. We don't know because we don't have what the participant sees screen on this particular format.
Okay. So they're saying they can't send to everybody, so let me check one more thing.
Okay. And I'm no longer presenting. Okie dokie. So, well, as long as we're having fun, what are you doing this summer? Anything fun? Taking any time off to go anywhere, do anything?
Okay, we should be good.
All right. Yay, trying to close out the year, Tiffany. I think that's everybody. So no vacation until that is done. Okay. All right, so let's get down to what we're actually here for. Open up my pod so I can see. Beth, at this point, I'm going to not be looking at the chat pod, so if you'll just help me know what's going on there.
Will do.
Okay, here we go. Here's our agenda. It's not going to take the full hour, so that little adjustment at the front isn't going to hurt us any. We have our welcome announcements, some Tech and Tell updates for the webinars, PD Portal updates, and then I want to talk about Carnegie Math. So Olga gets to present next. You want to just talk and I'll manage the screen, Olga?
That'd be great. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to tell you about our upcoming Workforce Wednesday, which is going to be July 25th from 12:30 to 1:30. And our topic is what I think I heard was, and it's related to communicating in the workplace. We have a packed agenda for that day. Registration is in the PD portal, and all you have to do is search Workforce Wednesday. We also have our Manager Monday live webinar coming up on July 23rd from noon to 1. Please note the revised date, because we had scheduled it for the 16th, but that is not going to happen. So please join in on July 23rd. And this Manager Monday topic is student success and IETs. So we have Sandra Cortez from Laredo Community College and Kelly Rhodes from Restore Education, who will be showcasing their specific strategies for motivating students to remain in and successfully complete their IETs. So join us, because we have some really good programs that are going to be sharing some information about retaining those IET students. Thank you.
Tracy, are you able to join us?
Yes, I'm here. Hello. I am actually in Dallas right now. We're having the July 12th TOT for TABE 1112 today. We have a good group here. We've got 2 more dates, August 14th and August 16th in Houston, August 14th in San Antonio. And I think the next slide I'll talk about how I'll be doing a needs assessment to see if we're going to need another TOT for this in the fall. I'll speak to that in a minute, but please register, folks, for these 2 dates coming up. San Antonio right now has nobody registered in it, and if we need to cancel it, we will. But when we initially did San Antonio, we had a full slate. I had waiting room only for that one, so that's why we circled back to San Antonio again, and Houston was also full. So please register as PD coordinators. You need to assign staff to those trainings, and we have had a really good representation from around the state of almost everyone from almost every program has come. You may find that you want to have another person trained to do this. This test is very daunting, this new test, so let me know if I can help with that or if you have any questions at all. And I think I've got the next slide too, Glenda.
Actually,
no, I don't.
Before we move
Sorry.
on, Liz, we have a question, Tracy,
okay.
from Liz Moya.
Sure.
Will there be a TABE online training? The one in June focused on paper pencil version only.
It did, and right now we do not have a TABE online in the works, and I'll tell you why, for a couple of reasons. DRC, they have a new interface for 1112, so if you get the online, it doesn't even look like 910. It is not even complete. Mike Johnson told me that interface won't be done and completely done with the reports and everything working until December. And one thing we have found when we ask people what they want with online, it's a lot of technical questions about getting people signed up, registered in the online, and technical questions that we don't feel like we can answer right now because we're just the lay people, if you will. In the spring, once the interface is done, I might consider hiring someone to develop an online that would be about how to pull reports and things that aren't really technical related. But that is why we haven't done it. And I will tell you what Gina Davis, who's the TABE rep, one of the DRC reps, told Jan at the Fort Worth training. Gina came to watch her do this TOT, and when we were talking about the online, she said that she directs everyone to go online to the DRC website and watch all of their online videos, and then if they still want an online training, to call her, and she can set that up. But she said she hasn't had anyone come back after they viewed all the videos and come back and request for DRC to do a face-to-face 3-hour online training. So that's just kind of a tip there, and why we haven't developed one at this point. So I hope that answers your question. And I will say about this TOT, we do talk about paper a lot, but what we go through with this TOT is a lot about how the rigor has changed and the timing. The timing is a really big factor. The times are so much different. It's going to take longer, even online, for students to complete the test. So it's just kind of a good introduction to this 11-12 and the changes and the differences and how your program's going to need to change a lot of things, to intake folks in and then progress test them. So it's a good introduction to Table 11-12, but that's my answer.
Thank you, Tracy. And we do have a couple of comments from Tiffany Lee.
Okay.
I recommend you do the test by computer. It is so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
The interface is easy, too. And she also notes that the videos are very helpful for the online portion.
Mm-hmm.
So Tiffany has obviously gotten her feet wet with
Good.
that, so she might be a good resource for us.
Mm-hmm.
And Irene has asked, will the TOT provide the differences in paper and online? Paper and pencil versus online?
Well, we don't talk about the differences as much. Online is going to be easier because you can get someone set up online and they'll do the locator and then they can go through the various levels that they've located for, unless they're very low, and then you've got to give them a paper and pencil literacy test. But we don't really cover that as much. We do talk about the times, which that seems to be the biggest thing, and the rigor is very hard. People that used to take E, a lot of them may have to go to the L level, and so we don't talk about the differences too much in that about online and paper. I think online, I think DRC, frankly, they really do want you to go to online because it's easier in a lot of ways, but it's very expensive, and then it's difficult to hand score this test, but we still have a lot of programs, even workforce programs, that still hand score. And so there's the Scories and Scantron. It's going to be what your program can afford to do and how that best you can implement that. That's kind of not a good answer, but...
Okay, so we have another question is cost to the program visited during the TOT?
No, because we are not the publisher. We do give you the contact information for the DRC reps, and I can email that to anyone who would need them. We've got Gina Davis, and there's a new person for the North region, and they're going to be your best bets to contact about what you need to purchase. You can go to the DRC website. They do have a TABE 11-12 order form, and they do have a little worksheet that you can use to figure out what you might need and how much of everything you might need. But those are questions really best for the publisher. We're not the sales reps, so we don't kind of go into those things.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. We
Sure.
had one more comment, and then we'll move on to the next slide. Tiffany says they had orientation this week, and the new students completed the test online. It went okay, and the
Great.
sign-on was simple. So
Great.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, this one is me, so I'll go ahead and stay unmuted. Just to let you guys know that we are going to do, after this year of content standards rollout and having our instructional coaches from all of our programs do so much work on the content standards, we are going to do a TOT August 17th and 18th in Austin. So we've got a core group of those instructional coaches that have been working on this all year that are available to your programs when you have new teachers coming in, or if you lose your instructional coach and need someone to come in and do some training. So that's going to be coming up. There's going to be a nomination form. We're working on that right now, and it should be available very soon. And it's going to be a small group. We want to keep it to about 15 folks. So be thinking about if your coach might be somebody that would be interested in going out and training in other programs. We're also working on putting together some of these into online courses. So we're going to hope to have 4 short online courses that will be available around the content standards. So that's it. Thank you.
Any questions on that? And Tracy, could you go ahead and mute yourself? We're hearing you breathe.
I am so sorry about that.
Well, it's good. At least you're live. We know you're live. Okay, if there's no questions about the Content Standards TOT, we have some more announcements, and this is Tracy again, so unmute.
That's why I didn't mute myself. I'm sorry. I thought I was after that other table, and so, yes, I am alive. That's good to know. All right, so in August, I'm going to be sending out a needs survey to determine what your programs need in the way of assessment TOTs, the BEST Plus, BEST Literacy, TABE Class C, and the Texas-style TABE 11-12 again. So be looking for that, and I will let you know by listserv that the survey will come out. I'll probably in one survey ask you the need for all of these things so that we can determine what you need, when in the fall might be good, and where we might have them. So be looking for that, and in the meantime, let me know if you have anything you need to, coming up sooner than what we don't have anything planned other than the ones in August, but let me know if you need some help. But look for that, and that's all I have to say about that. And I will mute myself now if there's no questions. Thanks.
This is Paula. Talking about Literacy Texas Conference that's coming up soon in August. We have several sessions that our PD specialists will be presenting at this conference. We have over 16 presentations. The room at the Hilton will be at Hilton Waco, and the block of rooms has now been filled, but they have the Marriott, the Courtyard Marriott, which is right across the street. So you can use the link that you see on the screen now and register and join us. We'd love to see you.
Great, thank you. Still on announcements. We have the Tex TESOL State Conference coming up in Dallas. Their call for proposals is over. I got a notification that they're reviewing those now. So we'll have more information once they've accepted the proposals and let us know what their agenda is going to look like. So for right now, just to save the date, there is the URL if you wanted to go ahead and register, but that's going to be Tex TESOL, hosted by Tex TESOL 5 up in Dallas. Early bird registration through October 1st, so there's plenty of time. You're up. I don't see Harriet here.
Yeah, go ahead, Beth.
I'll go ahead and take this because I don't see Harriet on either. So this is just a reminder to everybody that we are going to be having a meeting for the PD coordinators and Train PD at the AEL Summer Institute. It'll be on August 2nd from 1 to 4, and there is the registration if you have not already registered, although I believe Harriet has been reaching out to programs to make sure that your PD coordinators are getting registered for this. So one question that we have for you, are there burning topics that you would like us to cover during this 3 hours that we have together? And we don't often get a chance to come together, and so let us know if there are things that you want to make sure that we have an opportunity to talk about and to cover questions that you have. And it looks like we have a Bitly link that Glenda has put in the chat pod. So if you have topics, please, we're working on setting up and doing our PowerPoint and what we want to cover right now. So now's the time. So please let us know if you have topics to cover. Thank you.
The slide I just added this a one question. What topics would you like to see? It's a paragraph answer, so you can write as many things as you want. And if you want to let us know who you are so we can follow up if we have questions about your topics, that's all that's in that survey. It's very short.
All right, so I have 2 slides here at the in the announcement section. The first one is related to PD categories. So at the end of last program year, we went through and evaluated the PD categories to see what updates we needed to make. July 1st, I made all those updates, and so what you guys have in the PD coordinators community of practice are two separate lists. One list is specific to curricula, which means the online courses that people can take in the portal, and the other one is face-to-face events. And so these are the lists that, these lists include all the curricula and face-to-face events that are available to you guys currently, and their PD categories. You'll see on the slide here, the reports have training title, PD category, PD hours, and then this one in particular has who it's available to, just so that you kind of have an idea. Most things are going to be available to all PD portal users, but there are a few things that are only going to be available to a specific group with the curricula, and we just wanted to make sure to make you guys aware of all of those courses, even if it possibly wasn't available specifically to you, just because you might end up having staff members who do take that course and submit it to you. So again, we just wanted to make you aware. And then just a little fun thing I learned recently. In the middle of the slide here where you see the house and then communities, PD coordinators, that kind of gives you the path for how you get to the PD category reports that are in the PD coordinators list. I found out recently that's called breadcrumbs. So those are the breadcrumbs for how to get to the PD coordinator or the PD category lists in the portal. So PD categories should not change. That was the whole goal, was we tried to do the work up front, get everything squared away so that we don't have any issues with categories changing. That being said, the lists will periodically be updated as we add new courses into the PD portal. And when those lists are updated, I'll update them in the PD portal community of practice as well. Are there any questions about the PD category list? And I've got the next slide.
Laura, let me just stop for a second and go back. We had a comment from Morrow. Would you please update us on any report access through the portal or refresher course? Morrow, would you let us know if you think that's a topic for the PD coordinators meeting, or is that something that you want addressed? If you could just clarify for us in the chat pod. So I'll go ahead and mute myself and you can go on to the next.
Okay. I'm wondering if he's asking, we did the reports webinar probably about 2 or 3 months ago. I'm wondering if he's referencing that. Okay, we can circle back if we get more information. The next slide is about courses with new titles. So the top 3 courses on this list, Goal-Driven Learning Attunement, and PII, those are courses that everybody is supposed to take each year. And so we have changed the titles just to match the program year. So we wanted to make you guys aware of what the titles were. So those right there in front of you are verbatim what the titles are in the portal. And then the 4th one on the list is the new title for Adult Learning Principles. So for the program year 2018-19, the Adult Learning Principles course is going to be called Understanding Adult Learning Principles 2018-2019. I think Glenda might touch base on this a little bit later on in the webinar today, but just a little FYI, if you happen to start typing Adult Learning Principles into your search global search bar, if anything happens to generate down that says Adult Learning Principles 2018, please do not click on it. There's some back-end wonky stuff going on with the portal where it's generating titles every once in a while that it shouldn't be. So go ahead and just type out the full title, hit enter, and use the search results for where you get to your courses rather than clicking on something that comes in the auto-generated menu. And then Liz says, will the original courses be closed? Yes, Liz. So what we've done is we have taken all availability off of the old program year courses. We have, I think, deactivated them at this point, so there should not be anybody finding them and accessing them and taking them. But what I've learned this past week is we have some programs that are very good at finding the holes in the PD portal. So again, if you see Adult Learning Principles 2018, please don't click on it because that's an old course. Yep, there's Glenda's slide. Glenda, I'll let you go from here.
Okay, we have a couple of questions, though, so can we pause for just a minute? And okay, so Mara has asked, are we any closer to getting portal and teams to match? Mara, if you mean, are we getting any closer to the portal and teams talking to each other so you don't have to do things in both places, I don't think that's going to happen in our lifetime. But go ahead and clarify in the chat pod if I'm getting the question wrong. Ashley has asked, we're supposed to be doing each of these each year.
That's the slide before with the new titles. So Ashley, I think everybody is supposed to do a goal setting.
Yeah, so she's asking, I think, about the Understanding Adult Learning Principles has to be done each year. No, that particular course does not have to be done each year. But as you know, you have to have some PAL categories completed. But the only thing that has to happen is the goal setting stuff. So it's the goal-driven learning for anyone new that needs to take the full 3 hours or doesn't get it otherwise. And if they've already completed the 3 hours, then all they have to do is the attunement. Does that answer your question, Ashley?
Is PII not an every-year training? I thought it was.
You know, I need to confirm that because I think it is.
Okay, yeah, so the top 3 are annual.
Yeah, let me check the PII. I believe it is. Oh,
okay.
John says no, not every year.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, John.
Okay, and then we had a question. I just checked in Teams and find that both Goal-Driven Learning 18, 19, and Attunement are not found to give credit. Will they be ready soon in Teams?
That's what he means, okay.
Morrow, yes. We could not add any of the courses, the online courses, until Teams rolled over to the new fiscal year, which just happened on Friday. So we have every single online course that's in the portal has to be added into Teams. So we actually have a group of us that are working on that here. It's going to take a little time because there's a lot of them, but yes, we are working on that. Thank you.
And I want to go back to the question earlier from Catherine about, I wanted to know what this was, if it was going to be online. She's talking about the PD coordinator meeting, and I don't think we're planning on live streaming that, Deb. What do you?
No, we weren't anticipating doing that. Let me see if we can put that together.
Or at least record it so we can post it later.
Record it,
yeah.
All right, I'm making a note, Catherine.
Oh, do I have another?
No, I'm sorry. Just because you had already brought this up about searching for training, do you want to go ahead and do this, and then we'll talk about the problem with search, and then we'll go back.
Oh, sure. Well, this is semi-related. So this is just a reminder that if you need to find associated trainers and trainings, there's a video in the PD Coordinators Connect community that talks about how to do that, and it kind of walks you through it. So the screenshot here is just showing you what the title of the post is. And if you go through this process and you run into trouble with finding what you're looking for or who you're looking for, go ahead and contact me directly and I'll help get it figured out for you. We are still doing just a little bit of cleaning up in the back end with the trainers and trainings, but it, for the most part, should be up to date at this point. And then also, just another reminder that we're using this process in the portal with the associated trainers and trainings to replace the contract trainer database.
This is what we were talking about. If you search, and I'm going to pull my screen over so you guys can see, you search for a training and you don't hit enter, you get a suggested search list, and people are actually clicking on that. So we want you not to do that because you have more access than your in folks, but even the in folks can see it, so your staff members. So if I start searching goal up here, oops, that's an interesting goal. Let's try that goal. It's going to give me inactive things and tests and video courses that are not embedded in a curriculum. And we have had problems with people actually clicking on these and somehow getting into them. We've asked Cornerstone to turn this off, and they say they can't. We will continue to work on that. But that's why it's really important to go ahead and hit enter, because then what you're going to get is what is actually available to you. So please don't use the suggested search to select anything, because that's going to cause you some headaches. Go back to our regularly scheduled program. Is mine. So we were talking about you don't have to have that specific Principles of Adult Learning course that's online. A lot of people take it. If they're new, it's a great foundation course for understanding adult learning. But we wanted to provide some things that were different and maybe going a little bit further than just the foundational ideas. So I'm going to host 2 webinars, one on August 17th and one on August 31st for an hour and a half each. So if they attend both, that would be their 3-hour required PD. The first one's going to be on self-directed learning and how to create self-directed learners in your classroom. And the second one's on transformational learning, which is a big topic in adult education. I have not submitted TRIFs to Beth yet, so they do not exist in the PD portal world, but they will be up probably the first part of next week. If you have other topics about adult learning principles, adult learning theory that you would like to see covered, please email me and let me know, and I will be glad to think of webinars in the future that we can cover or get guests to come in and cover those. Moving on, Deb.
Well, I am standing in for Anne-Marie, who is on, today's her birthday, by the way. If you have her email address, you might want to send her a happy birthday message. She's on vacation, and I think we've shared this before, but I just want to reiterate that we are on vacation for Tech and Tales for the month of July, and that we'll be returning in August. And what we're going to be doing is taking off the Thursday night option and just offering them on Fridays. And we're only going to be doing 2 topics a month. So it'll be like a part 1 and a part 2. And then for the next set, it'll be part 1 and part 2. So we'll be 2 topics a month. And Catherine, I know you've always come on our Thursday nights, and we really appreciate that. But it just seems that our enrollment has just gone down on the Thursday nights. So we're going to keep recording them. And Anne-Marie is very busy scheduling. I think she's got schedules into November now. So just as a reminder, if you have any particular topics or any tech websites or tools that you use, we would love for you to share those with Anne-Marie, and she might consider putting those as a Tech and Tell topic. Here's the next slide as well. Oh, here we go. So yeah, in August, Glenda's doing a Quizlet review. And then our own Denise Johnson is doing part 2 of that Crowd Ed Learning. She did one, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. And then in September, you can see Krista is going to be doing a 2-part Tech and Tell on GeoGebra. That's crazy, Krista. You want to talk a little bit about that real quick? You can unmute yourself.
Talking to the computer, trying to unmute myself. Yes, GeoGebra, if you can say it. It's a really, really fun website. It has graphing calculators, and you can put in equations, and you can visually see the line being drawn. And
that's cool.
I'm still getting into it, but there's so many factions of this site that has a lot of really good implications for teachers and math, and also for accommodations for the learning styles, the visual and the kinetic. So I'm really
there's never. Somebody said the other day, there's so many different apps and so many different tech tools. It's got to get boring. I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, we stumble upon, we're never going to learn it all, so when we stumble upon these websites or we find something that is really cool and innovative, we want to share them. So again, please join Krista and Glenda and Denise on these Tech and Tells, and if you happen to miss them, we record them. And we've got to do, this past year, we've had to do with a new law on ADA and accessibility. We have to go back and do all the closed captioning for these now, and we've got to do some accessible materials. So anything that we post, whether it's the PowerPoint or an outline or what have you, we have to make sure all of those things are accessible. So it does take a little lag time between having a Tech and Tell webinar live and then seeing it in the portal. But just know that, Laura's doing her best she's got a team of folks here that are helping her with the closed captioning, and Anne-Marie's helping with the accessibility of the documents and stuff. So just, we keep trying to pump those out. So just keep posted on that. And I think that's all for Anne-Marie. Anybody have any questions?
This is Beth. I just wanted to jump in for Anne-Marie again, and one other reminder from her that she would make if she was here is that there are 2 webinars happening next week that came out of the Standards Alignment to Industry Clusters work.
Oh, good, thanks.
And those are sponsored by Literacy Texas in working with Train PD at TCAL. There's one on the 17th, which is Tuesday, that is at 2 o'clock, and it's on using ONET and how they used ONET in this project. And then on the 19th at 2 o'clock, there's going to be one where they're going to bring in the employers that were part of the Standards Alignment to Industry Clusters project. And there were some really powerful employers that did a lot of really good work on this project, so I think that it would be worth your time to attend those. There are still spaces available. They are at webinars. So just a plug for those if you haven't attended one that you might like to. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. And as long as I'm here, I just wanted to mention as a tip and trick for the PD portal, if you didn't know it, I don't like the calendar view because you can't actually see full titles. So I always do agenda to see what's coming up. So that's how I can go to these and see the description just by hovering over under agenda view. Just a tip and trick, free for nothing. Moving on. Oh, this is me. Okay, so the webinars, we realized we weren't doing evaluations. Those wonderful little Scantrons that we give you guys every time we go do a training. Well, they are now available for the webinars, for all of the webinars, anything that you have to register for in the PD portal. And they show up on the drop-down arrow in the big blue button. So after the webinar is over, we're going to be encouraging people to go back and evaluate the webinar because we need to know what's working and what's not working so that we can continue to improve what we present to you virtually. Because we want to make sure that, with as big as Texas is, we know that we're going to do more and more virtual types of professional development, and we want to make sure that they're good quality and people are getting out of them what they need. So please remind your folks, help us remind them to go ahead and give us feedback. At this point that we haven't already covered. Covered these 2, so I'm just going to skip through them and come back to Laura.
Okay, so 3 new webinars that are available in the portal. We've got Manager Monday, Recruit to Retain, the Tech and Tell TSLAC Literacy Toolkit, and then Workforce Wednesday Career Ladders. So these are webinars. These are a great example of what Deb was talking about earlier. These are webinars that previously happened live in the PD portal, and we grabbed the video and put them through the post-production process so that they were accessible with closed captions and an accessible outline as well. So it is a process, and we just thank you guys in advance for your patience as we make sure that we get everything taken care of before we put it out into the portal for y'all. So 3 new ones this month, and hopefully plenty more coming in the next month. So next, please. Okay, and then this PD Portal Office Hours is something that is starting on Thursday, August 9th, and this is how I have kind of revamped the PD Portal Genius Hour, which was not getting a lot of traction. So we're going to try it this way. I will host PD Portal Office Hours every Thursday from 11 to 11:30, and participants can come and go. They can drop into the WebEx room, ask their question, get their answer, log off, and go back to to work or their day or whatever they're doing. Or they can just hang out for the full 30 minutes and see what kind of information they can pick up from myself or someone else on the webinar. But this is the goal of this is just to provide technical assistance for folks who are having trouble with the portal, navigating it, finding what they're looking for. It's a great opportunity for they can share their screen with me and I can see what's happening, or I can share my screen with them and they can kind of see me walk through a certain process. So again, these are going to be every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. I will be doing this in a WebEx room, but I am not going to go through the PD portal. So we will be trying to encourage or train folks on how to get into a WebEx room the same way that you guys got into the WebEx room today. So if you guys could just kind of encourage your staff to take advantage of this opportunity, help them with getting into the WebEx room if they need it. If they want information on how to join, we want them to email us at pdportal@tamu.edu, and we will send them an email with directions for how to join the webinar. So we're really excited about this, hoping that it kind of takes off, and we're able to get some more technical assistance out there into the field.
Those of you who've been around for a bit, yes?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we have the Tech Integration Coach Series that has 7 levels, and we had previously asked directors and PD coordinators to identify the people to be the Tech Integration Coaches at your local programs, and people are working their way through those different levels. They get increasingly more difficult, and the first level, however, is mostly taking the North Star tests and doing a digital citizenship course on Microsoft Innovators in Education. And we have decided to go ahead and make that available to anyone who wants to check their digital skills to see what they might be missing. And I will tell you, even the digital coaches, everyone said, do I have to take it? You know I'm tech savvy. And we all took it, including myself, and we all failed at least one test. Typically, if you were an Apple user, you failed the Microsoft test, and if you were a Microsoft user, you failed the Apple test. But in general, it's a good way of just gauging where maybe your gaps in knowledge on basic technology skills are. It's something I would encourage you to encourage your folks to take, and I can certainly share information with you about how specific people did if you have concerns. So that is available. I haven't decided if I will make the second level of apprentice available to everyone or not just yet, because these are hand-scored, and that takes a little bit of time. This one is not so bad because I can get a report from North Star. But if you have any questions, please let me know. We subscribe to North Star, a partner in North Star. We get the report with actual scores and everything, so that's nice to see. Yes, and Dr. Escamilla, I am planning on getting all of the coaches together in August and ramping back up. Looking forward to it. Okay, this is me, Carnegie. So Carnegie Math Course, Carnegie Courses has given us a 6-week unlimited number of students trial. I am still waiting on the back-end login so I can set up the classes. As soon as I do, we will put it in the PD portal as something they can register for, and I will send a blast out to all of you, and you can encourage your teachers to take it. I know John will agree with me. I think this is helpful not only for GED teachers or HSE teachers who aren't comfortable with all of the math, but I think it's also important for our ESL teachers and our basic skills teachers supporting IETs to take, just to see where their gaps might be that they need some help. Oh, that's going to be a bad sound. That's my air conditioner just came on. But I'm going to go back on mute, so it should be okay. So I will let you know about that Carnegie course as soon as I get the information to get it set up. And Krista's going to be helping me with that, and she's a math guru, so we should be all good. The air conditioner knew to come on right at the end. So if there are any other questions, go ahead and put them in the chat or unmute yourself, and if not, that's going to be the end of the webinar. So we'll give you just a couple of minutes to type, and then we'll call it.
you everyone for participating today. It was nice to see so many of you online and to see a few new names. So I will go ahead and leave the webinar room open for a few minutes, and if you have any more questions, please type them in the chat pod. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks.